This is FYI on your TV, brought to you by Hometown News. I'm Kathy Botham. I've got Bob Perrault here with me. You are the operations manager and news director and the morning man at Lake 88. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
We're here today to talk about Build a Mountain of Food. Build a Mountain of Food's been going on. This is our 17th year. And your TV, Smith Falls, Lake 88, and Hometown News are the media sponsors this year too. So let's talk about Build a Mountain of Food and the importance of it.
Absolutely. I mean, the number one issue in every election that we've had in recent years is affordability, housing, food, and we've all seen those food costs just skyrocket. It's to the point where more people than ever are turning to the food bank as a source of food. Yep. So this year's Build a Mountain of Food, I mean, it's important every single year. It absolutely is, but there seems to be an exclamation point put on it this year because of what we've seen. We're coming out of the pandemic. More people are out and about. We were successful last year and the year before, but I really think that we're going to see an incredible outpouring of support from the communities that we're going to be visiting.
That's right, that's right. Now, this is the 17th year for Build a Mountain of Food. You've been around for a long time too with Build a Mountain of Food. We've heard lots of stories, we've seen lots of stories. All throughout the year we hear stories, and the ones that resonate most on me are the ones that the children are in need of the food. And there's some families, the parents will forego the food just to make sure their children are fed.
Exactly, like you have to make these really tough decisions, and I mean, my heart just bleeds for these people. Like, I feel so badly that they need to make a decision. Well, what am I going to give up just so that my child can eat? And it's an easy decision when it comes to feeding your child. Right. Obviously, there's your priority. So that's why we really want to see people coming out and helping out. We always speak with the food banks leading up to. Just yesterday we were speaking with Tammy Perrault, the manager at the Hunger Stop in Carleton Place, just to get sort of the temperature of what is going on. They've seen usage increase by 45%.
Right, amazing.
It is incredible.
That's right, and there we've got, let's see, we've got November 18th, we're going to be in Perth. November 4th is Carleton Place, like you were just mentioning. That's going to be Tammy Perrault. She was here last week as well, too. November 25th is Smith Falls. December 2nd, we've got in Elgin and Westport. December 9th is Portland and Merrickville. December 15th is Athens. So for the next few weeks, we're going to be busy with Build a Mountain of Food. Chris Craig and his crew, my goodness, they are amazing going around. This is their Christmas season too, and he puts his heart into it, the whole family does. Yeah,
RCL Automotive, they've done an incredible job since they've taken over. Jim Wright is very involved every year, and they do just such an incredible job with their Facebook presence, the social media presence, getting the word out there that way, and organizing it and making sure everybody is where they need to be. They have those banana boxes ready to fill, the taxi services that are being used to bring the food to the food bank and then bring the empty boxes back. The volunteers that they need to coordinate, it's staggering.
It's a well-oiled machine on those days, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Now, in terms of Lake 88, you were talking to food banks during the week before. That's what you're doing. And then on the week of, or the day of, you're out and about there too.
Yeah, we are. And, I'll go back to what you just said. We have an interview on our show In Focus, which airs after the news at noon on every weekday. And the Monday before, we're going to have those people in, like Tammy Perrault yesterday. And then what we do is we sort of generate stories that can play throughout the week from that interview. So we talk about two things, what they need and what they're hoping to see the day of. But then we also talk about what they're seeing. That's where we get the 45% increase. And then a 45% increase in the cost of food for the food bank as well, right?
That's right.
We find out what they're looking for. Money is always great, but this was kind of neat for me yesterday to find out that when they look at the donations that they're looking for, one thing that they really like are the foods that sort of spice up a meal. Things like hot sauce, condiments, salsa, and that, because that's not in their budget. So anytime those things get donated, you just think about it. Like, you can have a basic protein and some rice or something like that. Well, if you can throw a little bit of salsa on that chicken or whatever, then, I mean, it's sort of spicing up your meal, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so it's telling those stories and learning about that type of thing, learning about what type of people are coming in, She told me yesterday that they've had an increase of retirees who are just have a little bit of a gap between where they start their retirement and when actually some of their savings and so on is kicking in. And a lot of them feel like they shouldn't be going to the food bank, but that's exactly why it's there.
That's right.
It's every walk of life.
That's right, absolutely. And we're seeing an increase in the seniors coming to food banks now too. And asking for help is all right.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they're there for.
Exactly, and I think that's one of the most important messages, especially with so many people in the same boat right now. Once you get there and you see that there are other people who are going through the exact same thing you are, there is strength in numbers, and that strength can be in the form of confidence and understanding that it's okay to use their services.
Absolutely.
That's why they're there.
Absolutely. Now, the day of Build a Mountain of Food, now we've been around for a long time. I'm seeing the same volunteers coming out every year too. You know they're committed to this, to Build a Mountain of Food.
Yeah, it is. It's great. You walk up, you get a high five or whatever, and the big smiles on their faces. They're always happy to greet people as they come up. You mentioned that we'll be out at some of the locations. We'll be at Carleton Place, Perth, and Smiths Falls. And we know that we're going to see the same people that we've seen at those locations in years past, because people just get passionate about this cause and they love to help out. And they stay dedicated for years and years, in some cases decades.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And another thing with food banks too, it's not just at Christmas time they're in need, it's all year round too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see these programs that go on throughout the year. Usually they're centered around holidays, you know, so it could be like Easter, Thanksgiving, or whatever, traditional meal times. But throughout the year, you will see other campaigns, and we'll probably talk about next week or the week after. The Table has a Toonies for the Table campaign that's going on right now, which is jars in various locations. You can drop a toonie in because they do need to raise money for other things. And they work so hard at doing it throughout the year. I know that you and our station like to focus on that too, to remind people that there is a need year-round.
And it's so nice to be able to have the resources to do that. Just a few weeks ago, you had the radiothon for the hospital.
Yeah.
What a successful day that was for you.
It is one of the most incredible feelings when you can help a local organization or several local organizations like we did then, to be able to, and I know you know exactly what I'm talking about, to provide that forum for them. You know, we don't do much. We just basically let them do their thing. Come on out. And we raised $122,000 this time around for local health care, the hospital foundations and community health centers. Over the years, we've run it 5 years, we're at about $600,000 that has come in. I say we, it's the community, it's the service clubs who have stepped up year after year, and they do it with Build a Mountain of Food as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're going to be having Chris Craig come in later this morning too to talk about his well-oiled machine, like we said. He's been doing it for quite a few years too, and it is just amazing what him and his crew do every Saturday for about 6 weeks.
Absolutely, and you know, before RCL Automotive took it over, Chris and Lee were involved. Their daughter was involved as well. They were some of the volunteers that you'd go and you'd see at Independent in Smiths Falls every year. You know, go and wave and say hi and whatever. Rosalind would be there grabbing the bags and putting them in the back there. So they have deep roots and deep ties to this. So it was a no-brainer for them to take over. And I've known Chris and Lee for many years beyond this, and they're just fantastic people. They really are.
They really are.
And the people that they attract are also fantastic people. So you just have this great group that just does this work without giving it a second thought. It has to be done, so they do it.
Absolutely, and it's nice that you mentioned Lee and Roz as well too, because it's a family.
Yeah.
You know, it's a family endeavor. The whole family's got the heart to do this, to help the food banks.
Yeah, exactly. Here's my little trivia on RCL. I always wondered, well, I tried to figure it out in my mind. What does RCL mean? It's Rosalind, Chris, and Lee.
That's right, that's right.
I had no idea.
So every day, up to the food bank, you're going to be having something on Lake 88.
Pretty close, yeah.
Pretty close to talking to somebody from the local food banks, and you'll be speaking to them. And on the day of, you'll be at some of the Build a Mountain of Foods too. So
Absolutely, and we're going to have live broadcasts that are going on those days, and everything is going to be posted to lanarkleadstoday.ca. That's our website.
That's right.
Yeah, you can get the audio there, and it's just going to be a great way to sort of take a look, learn what is needed, learn why it's needed, and determine where you're going to help.
Absolutely, and you know, it's been around for 17 years, and you and I have been doing this for many years as well too. And you learn something new all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every year there's something you learn. Like the
wow
condiments,
factor.
the condiments and the salsa
Yes,
and that. I'm like, well, of course, that makes a lot of sense, It's things like that. And they're all very important things because there's so many different parts that make this work, whether it be the volunteers, the food banks themselves, the promotional work that goes into
Right.
it. All of that has to come together and be a well-oiled machine. And I think the Build a Mountain of Food has been a prime example of the community really coming together and getting something done.
And 100% of everything they raise and don't get donated on that day stays in that food bank as well, too.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I should also mention, too, that the local grocery stores, they always step up.
Oh, wow, do they ever.
The donations that they provide are just incredible. They really are. Whether it be Food Basics, Giant Tigers, Andrus's, the Garden Market, they all step up here in Smiths Falls. And the same is done in every other community as well. It's incredible.
That's right. They prepare some bags and you pay, say, $5, $10 for it. You're getting double, triple the amount.
Absolutely.
Inside that bank and inside that bag for the food bank. So.
Exactly, and you're helping so many people in doing that, so it's just
Absolutely.
great.
So let's get out there. Let's get out there. Build a Mountain of Food's going on for the next few weeks. God bless the Craig family for helping out and putting it together, but thank you very much for doing the promotional work as well and getting the word out there and helping out on the day of the Build a
Absolutely.
Mountain of Food. And thanks for coming here today, too. My goodness, you had to break away from doing news and doing the morning show today, too. So. And you're a busy person, so thank you
Well,
for
I'm
all
happy to be here, and just having a conversation like this gets me even more excited for it. So
Me too.
Yeah, let's do
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Bob Perrault from Lake 88.
you're very welcome.